Hi, I'm Melanie from Parenting High Schoolers, and I'm here today to talk to you about toxic friendships. Our teens can get involved, or tweens as well, and obviously any age, even we adults can get involved into toxic relationships. And I want to give you some warning signs to look for in the behavior and situation of your kids, and then also at the end, I want to also give you some strategies for limiting this occurrence or to help solve the problem. So first, let's talk. Hi, again, I'm Melanie from Parenting High Schoolers, and I hop on YouTube every week to talk about parenting your teens, strategies, tips for wading through these murky waters of the tween and teen years. So today, toxic friendships. This is such a real problem. I taught middle school the last 2 years, and I'm here to tell you that now that I'm back in pre-K, toxic friendships start young. You can see signs of this behavior in even small children. And so it's up to us as parents to nip that in the bud, for teachers to nip that in the bud, but sometimes it's really hard to spot it. You as a parent are in the best place to see if this is happening to your child. So the first warning sign I'm going to tell you about is an extreme mood change in your child. Does your once happy-go-lucky, sweet girl or boy all of a sudden become a sullen, angry, quiet, any sort of major change? That is an indicator that something is the matter. Now, it may not be a toxic friendship, but there is something going on, and you need to get to the bottom of that. The second warning sign is an extreme behavior change. That kind of goes along with the mood change, but if your child is all of a sudden acting out or frustrated or angry all the time, these are some things, these extreme mood or behavior changes in your child can be an indicator of a lot of things, but toxic friendship is one of the things that these two can be indicating. Okay, so the third sign you should look for is if your child has a friend who is always asking them or getting them to do things that you feel like your child would not otherwise do. So as you're talking with your tween or teen, and that's something I highly encourage, is that you stay in communication with them and you can sense a frustration coming from them about things that are happening with this, whoever this particular friend is, that is an indicator that there may be some toxicity. Okay, the next thing, the friend refuses to come to your house. This may seem like silly and like not an indicator, but if that child is not willing to come to your house, that they don't want you to see the real them. That is a huge sign. If you're encouraging your child to bring this person over and they won't come, that is a huge indicator that maybe that's a good thing for them to not come over. Number 5, they are possessive. They don't allow your child to have other friends. This is a sign of a toxic adult relationship as well. When you get involved with someone that does not want you to have any outside connections beside the two of you. This starts to happen. This is not a good sign. These are where some conversations need to occur. You know, what's going on? You know, how come you're not doing anything with Joey or Sally or whoever the case may be? And if they don't really have a good explanation, I would further question them about, like, you know, well, why are you always only with, you know, I'm not gonna say a name because I don't want it to be the wrong name, but, you know, why are you always with X? You know, what's going on there? Why are they the only person you are with lately? Okay. Number 7, they talk badly about your family or also your child's other friends. Obviously, that's not good. And sometimes you're going to have to really pursue a conversation with your tween or teen because they're not going to want to talk about these things. But if you can get some of these things out of them, like they're not saying nice things about you, or they said this about dad, or they told me that, you know, that my best friend from last year was XYZ, these are all not good signs. They make fun of your child, often to his or her face. And along with that is they play cruel jokes. That's something to be looking at. There are a couple of movies about situations where this is happening. And this is movies in our house has always been a great jumping off point for conversation to talk about, like, so if that happened to you, what would you do? Or how would you feel if somebody said that in a conversation to you. So I encourage you to find a book to read. I will give a couple of books for you as a parent to grab. And I will also give a couple of books for kids to read, or maybe you could read together, as well as a couple of movies that help start some of these conversations. This toxic friend is always angry at your child. So this again is not going to be something they're going to come out and say, so-and-so is always mad at me. But this is where that change in mood and behavior, it could be stemming from, because they feel like they can do nothing right. And this is someone that they're wanting to please, over please. And so again, these are indicators that this is not a friend that your child should be hanging out with. The last sign before I get to some solutions is that the friend, and I mentioned this a minute ago, plays these cruel jokes on your child. So that kind of went hand in hand with just making fun of them. If you find out any of these things are happening, you need to take immediate action. So as an educator, I'm here to say to you that you need to, so here are some solutions. So first and foremost, go to the teacher that this is happening in their class, or if it's happening at lunch or whatever, contact the school counselor, contact an administrator, whoever you think is best in that situation. Now, I will say if you contact the teacher, they're probably going to refer you on to the counselor or the principal, so you might just go ahead and start there. But it would be really great if you are suspecting some of these things, but you don't know for sure. You can ask the teachers to help you look out for these things, especially like in the middle school years. A lot of them are usually in a smaller pod or a team, and those teachers all work together, usually with the same kids each day, and that you start some kind of a log and keep track of things, conversations that you're having and things that you are finding out about. So I would start there. I would start with the school. If you're getting absolutely no support from the school, I would tell them that you are going to have to go further if you're not going to get their support. And this is completely within your rights, because it is a type of abuse, and you cannot have your child being bullied, any of that, because we're talking about their well-being. So if you're absolutely getting no support from the school, I would suggest that you contact the police. I mean, honestly, there were a couple situations last year where I felt like the parents should have gone to the police, and they didn't. They chose not to. That was the recommendation. Some things you can do at home to help your child. Limit their use of social media. Do not let them get apps that they cannot handle, aren't ready for until they are older teens. Limit their screen time and the time that they have their phone. The rule in my house is you turn in your phone at bedtime. And it used to be when they were even younger that they turn it in before bedtime, so they had about an hour before. But they're in so many group projects and everything now. Well, I mean, my two oldest are in their 20s, but my youngest, they're communicating about classes and stuff. But I will say that for sure by the time they go to bed, they turn in their phone to a central location. At our house, it's the bathroom. And so, by the time it's 10:30 or whatever the bedtime, it's later on weekends and stuff like that. But for sure they need to turn in their phone, because nothing good happens in the night. In fact, usually it's something bad. And then encourage new friendships and new activities, because if you get your child involved in a new activity or a new club or a new sport or a new whatever, there's going to be new people and new friends, and that's where their energy needs to be going. Besides obviously limiting that time with that friend, I wouldn't cut it off, because a lot of times you'll get some rebellion, but just try to gradually reduce the amount of time that child is spending with whoever it is that is toxic. So good luck. Parenting teens and tweens is not an easy journey, but we can all do it together. See you next week.